Hello YouTube community, my name is Eli and I'm here to introduce to you a video series I'm going to be doing covering the Skydio 2 camera drone. Not as any type of kind of expert or authority on drones, quite the contrary. It's actually going to be from the point of view of somebody who is totally, completely new to the world of aerial photography. The feedback I have about the Skydio 2 regards the experience of purchasing the drone to discovering, flying it, discovering its bonuses, its pitfalls, its quirks, and sharing them all with you. Whether you're thinking about buying a drone and are considering the Skydio 2, or whether you're someone who works for Skydio and wants some real unbiased feedback about the customer, new customer experience, or maybe you're a professional drone operator who is partial to their DJI or Evo or whatever kind of drone you already own, and therefore it makes it more of a challenge for you to appreciate what Skydio, the Skydio product has that really does make it amazing. Whatever your motivation, I thank you for your interest in hearing what I might have to say about the Skydio and about my point of view in general. First and foremost, a little bit of a disclaimer. I do not work for Skydio. I am not sponsored in any way by them. I didn't receive any free anything from them. I'm under no obligation whatsoever to omit any information that might reflect negatively on their product. I've had my Skydio 2 camera drone for about a week and a half. I've had 4 different occasions so far to fly it. So I definitely have some observations to share, such as although the Skydio is creepily magic when it comes to how it navigates, watching the thing actually steer around stuff is pretty amazing. However, it is not crash proof. It isn't. I mean, even a person, a human being, they've been known to walk into a city light pole or something like that occasionally. People are clumsy, and we're a lot smarter than this robot. But it is quite fantastic. I am not at all regretful that I chose the Skydio, and throughout this series, as we go forward, hopefully you'll be able to see why. Many of the types of shots that I've been wanting to get over the years are kind of hard or impossible with the GoPro. Those include, not just a bird's eye view of something, but those dollying or trucking shots. With small cameras, you're able to take the shake out of the camera by using things like gimbals and things like that. But for me, I recognize that a camera drone might be something that really effectively addresses the problem of moving the camera, moving the camera around in a rock-solid way. Not unlike other regular cameras out there, any camera drone that has any sense of decent quality is going to be super expensive, and in the hands of somebody who's a more typical user like I am, not somebody who works for Hollywood or somebody who's a professional FPV drone racer or whatever. There's some really skilled pilots out there. In the hands of somebody who's a novice, drones are notorious for crashing. Your $1,000 investment is going to just be gone the first 10 seconds that into your first flight, or when you're trying to get that beautiful trucking shot in this skyline, or if you're trying to get that beautiful beachside cliff or whatever, and suddenly you hit something and your drone's going spiraling down into the watery depths. If I was gonna somehow Jedi mind trick my spouse into being on board with my making a fairly substantial purchase for something that I have to admit really is more for a hobby than for anything else, the only way I was going to be able to survive that is if I am able to find a drone that like the GoPro is something that is going to be able to last beyond the first 5 minutes of using it. I discovered Skydio in about February of 2020. I knew that Skydio was a new company and that they had a really hot product, and didn't really have the ability to keep up with their demand. So I knew that there was going to be a bit of a wait. When I finally made my decision in about April, the COVID pandemic was an issue and they shut down their manufacturing line. On June 4th, pretty much right after they reopened their factory, I put in my order, and I was told it was going to, be about October before it would come in. And I was eventually informed that my shipment would be delayed until sometime in December. So that was kind of rough, because I knew there were some things I wanted to do, summertime things I wanted to do, whether it be recording some windsurfing or mountain biking or whatever it is outside that I was interested in trying to get. I realized I wouldn't be able to get that, but that doesn't mean that the product isn't amazing. It's actually because it's amazing that it's going to take so long to get there. However, a helpful tip for those of you who are thinking of buying the Skydio and you've placed your order. Make sure that Skydio is excluded from your spam list on your your junk mail list on your email, because Skydio was trying to inform me that my drone was built and ready for shipping for 2 weeks before I realized that they were even trying to reach me at all. They'll only hold your order for 60 days, and that would be really, really disappointing if you lose your chance having waited for, what would be, it could be an extended amount of time. Anyway, December 15th, arriving home from work in the dark, pulling into my garage bay, I saw on the floor of the garage a innocuous looking but large box on the ground, and the only markings on the box was a shipping tag from DCL Logistics Fulfillment Center, and also a sticker warning that there were batteries inside the box. There were no other markings at all. I had no idea what was in it. No one in my family had to sign for it when it arrived. And it was also several days earlier than what Skydio said it was going to take for me to get my order. So although I had a pretty good idea and was very excited, I honestly didn't know what might be in the box. I brought the package in and had an unboxing that was probably fairly typical. I was pretty excited but the whole time, and was really looking forward to seeing what these things were like to actually hold. And my immediate impressions were that the Skydio 2 drone is actually a bit smaller than I was expecting. It's also a lot more solidly built than I expected. From the videos I had seen, it looked like it might be sort of plasticky, like a sort of a children's toy, and that all the money you put in is actually more for the technology you put in there. But no, the Skydio 2 camera drone is very well built. It's solid. It's metal aluminum. It feels like a serious piece of equipment. Definitely not a toy. That's it. Yay! Unfortunately, however, it was midweek when it came, and when I work during the day, when I get home, it's dark, and the Skydio won't fly at night, so I'd have to wait till the weekend. It's good that I had to wait though, because it gave me some time to actually read up on the FAA guidelines and rules and obtain a drone registration and learn how to check whether or not you're in a controlled airspace when you want to fly, or how to get permission and things like that. Maybe I'll do a video on that process at some point, but suffice to say, dealing with that registration procedure, it's not intuitive, it's not that easy. But I did reach out to the FAA customer support, whatever, and they were actually really helpful and responsive, and they helped get me through it, and that all worked. And as far as getting permission, flight clearance, which is required, that's actually super easy and fast. It literally takes seconds whenever you do it. It's automated, so that's not a big deal at all. What about my first flight? The Skydio 2 app actually gives you a pretty good directions on how to launch it. It gives you a little tutorial on how to control it using your iPhone. You get a chance to see what it looks like and what its behavior will be. But I'm telling you, despite all that, if I had bought any other type of drone than the Skydio 2, I would have been just another one of those people who crashed their drone into the nearest object immediately, the first 20 feet that it went. I was already really happy and felt justified in choosing Skydio. I did some playing, discovering both with the phone and also with the controller. I discovered how the drone comes back to you if it should lose connection. I hadn't set anything up yet, so I was pleased to see that work. Even more pleased that when it's coming back to you, it still steers around trees and everything on the way to you. However, I also learned that even though the Skydio 2 is capable of seeing scraggly little branches and other obstructions, its reaction time is substantially delayed when it's going really, really fast. So, for example, use of the turbo button on the controller when you're at lower altitude, like amongst trees and stuff, in the winter or any other time when there's no leaves on the trees, that's not really recommended, or wouldn't be recommended. Thankfully, my Skydio 2 was able to right itself before it hit the ground, and there wasn't a scratch on it. I mean, it's completely unscathed. It's a tough little guy, very cool, easy to fly, freakishly creepy to actually see it chase your family members. In conclusion, I've had a few more chances since that initial day, that initial flight, to learn how the Skydio will behave and how to control it, how long its battery actually lasts under real use conditions, and what some of its limitations are. And I'll share those with you in upcoming videos. In the meantime, I want to thank you for watching this video, and if there's something in here that you felt was useful, go ahead and give it a like. I'd appreciate it. If you would like to be informed about when I do post other newer Skydio or other videos, go ahead and consider giving that subscribe button a good mash there. If there's anything specific that you'd like me to cover in future episodes, feel free to leave a comment. I'd appreciate that. Oh, and if you are a experienced drone photographer who thinks I might benefit from, some pointers also, please, I would welcome any pointers, any wisdom that you have to provide me. I'd appreciate that too. There's no reason why this can't be a two-way street. But until next time, thank you again, and I'll see you next episode.